Hi everyone, this is Paola of paolaponcenails.com, and today I'll be giving you some tips and tricks on how to grow your natural nails long. Now, I'm sure that in this journey to grow those natural nails long and strong, you've probably bought into two things. A, some type of nail vitamin, and two, some type of nail strengthener. And I'm just going to give you some off the bat freebie information. If you're going to be using a vitamin to grow your nails, give that vitamin 3 months before you start seeing results. This is relatively the period of time that you need to give that vitamin time to work in your system and start seeing results. My second piece of freebie advice before we jump into some tips and tricks is that nail strengthener. When you apply that nail strengthener, make sure you apply one coat, reapply the second coat without removing, and on the third day, reapply and remove. And by doing this, you're going to limit your exposure to acetone and you're going to build on the layers that you applied previously, making that nail strong. So couple this advice with some or all of the tips and tricks that I'm about to give you. Now, the tips and tricks that I'm about to share with you are for those people that have no product removal damage. So these are people that are simply struggling to grow their own natural nails. They're not growing them out of damage, okay, from product removal or any other nail enhancement. Now, I'm going to give you 10 of my tips and tricks on how to grow those natural nails long and strong. Number 1, start by trimming all of your nails down to the same length. When you trim those nails, do not clamp on the center of the nail. Rather, clip the nails from one side to the other and then file them with an Emery board. An Emery board is just a natural nail file that's not coarser than 180 grit. If you're not sure, just feel the texture of that file, but just take a peek, and if it looks too gritty, then don't buy. Buy the one that looks very, very smooth. Tip number 2 is garlic. Now, listen to me before you get turned off. I have personally tried the garlic hack, and I tried it like when I was a teenager almost 20 years ago. And I tried it because I didn't have the nail length that I wanted, and it gave me good results. The only thing about that, why I can't give you like a firm answer in my experience, is because I didn't stick with it. I really could not do the smell, and it was messy. And that garlic smell stays in your fingernails for days. But I did have a best friend at the time, that she tried this nail hack and it gave her extraordinary results, and she applied that garlic day and night, and she did get those natural nail goals. So much so she actually started putting it on her toenails. Real story, okay? So I am not discouraging the rubbing the garlic night and day on your fingernails for a number of weeks. All right, hack number 3, file your nails every other day, okay? You can even do this every day if you want to. However, let's go back to that Emery board. Your Emery board has to be a very, very gentle, smooth grit. And why filing versus clipping, you might be thinking? Clipping actually puts pressure on the nail and may cause it to split more readily than filing them with a very gentle file. My tip number 4, wash your dishes. And it is okay to wash your dishes without gloves, but hear me out. If you have a whole boatload of dishes, do not do it without gloves, okay? So moisturize your hands, put some cuticle oil on your natural nails if you're going to be in those gloves for a very, very long time. But actually, washing your dishes without gloves stimulates your nail. Again, that stimulation is going to promote nail growth. So how does this happen? When you're washing your dishes underneath the water, right? You have a little bit of warmth in the water. So that warmth is a catalyst for anything to grow. When you want something to happen, you add heat. If your water is nice and warm, then it is going to promote that nail growth. Now you're also adding moisture, obviously water into the nail. It's not terrible if you're not going to do this for a very prolonged period of time. Now, if you have product, wear your gloves. But we're talking about natural nails right now, nails that don't have product, nails that don't have damage. If you have damage, definitely use your gloves because your nails might be a little too sensitive for that warm water. Now, please never, ever, ever use your fingernail while washing your dishes to scrub any scum, any residue, anything stuck on your pots and pans. Never, ever use your nails to scrape that stuff off, because in doing so, you are going to, at minimum, bend that nail, but also you're going to split that free edge, okay? You're going to split the edge of your nail into many layers, and now you're going to have the peeling nails and all of that. You're going to have the breakage. So do not scrub anything off of your pots and pans with your natural nails. My tip number 5 is your in the shower routine. What is your in the shower nail care routine? You should have one if you want to promote that healthy nail growth, if you want those nails to grow fast. So how do you do that? What do I have to sit there and give myself a manicure every time I get in the shower? Absolutely not. 2 things you can do when you jump into the shower: moisturize those nails with either some lotion, but primarily some cuticle oil. This will benefit your nails because in the shower they will have absorbed all this water. So you putting some oil in there will prevent them from absorbing too much water, and also from you bending them perhaps when you're like scrubbing your scalp, which you should not use your nails, but in case you do, they will flex and not break. Also, the warmth, the heat in the shower is going to promote again this nail growth, because that's what heat and warm does. Now, another thing you can do when you get out of the shower, right? Your skin is nice and supple, it's nice and flexible. That includes the skin around your fingernails, like your cuticle. So what you want to do right after the shower, when you're in your towel, take a towel and push back the cuticle, so that again, you're stimulating nail growth because you're around that matrix area where the cell production of the natural nail happens. And you're also avoiding having a thick cuticle around the nail plate. So that's your quick in the shower nail care. Tip number 6 is to use any of your toning towelettes or your makeup removing towelettes and give them a second use. Sometimes you just use them to take makeup off, right? And that's it. Maybe you toss them, right? Or sometimes you have these nice rosy aloe vera towelettes here, and you just kind of use them to refresh your face and then you throw them out. Well, give them a second use. Use those towelettes to again push back those cuticles very gently. Again, you're going to promote that natural nail growth, and you're going to prevent the cuticle from getting too thick, from regressing onto the nail plate, all stimulating natural nail growth. Tip number 7 is to avoid acetone. Now, you do your nails at home and you just use nail polish, no gel product, then definitely avoid acetone. And you might be saying, well, how am I going to remove my polish? Well, there are some non-acetone alternatives out there that you can use. But why do you want to avoid acetone? Acetone is a dehydrator, a very strong dehydrator. And so anytime you're soaking your nails in acetone, or you're using cotton balls soaked in acetone, then it's going to extract the moisture. And what happens when you have nails that lack moisture? They are hard, they are dry, they will become brittle, and they will eventually break. This is why you want to avoid acetone as much as possible. Totally okay for you to use it here and there, but if you're using it twice a week, 3 times a week, even 1 time a week, that might be a little bit excessive, especially if you already have brittle nails. So try to avoid acetone as much as possible. Tip number 8, never ever buff or file over the natural nail. What happens when you buff or file over the natural nail? Well, the obvious, right? You remove a little bit of keratin, which is that strong protein that your natural nail needs to remain strong. But what is less obvious here? When you buff or file over the natural nail, you are essentially making that nail porous. You are opening it up, okay? So when you're opening it up, and it can lead to breakage. So never ever buff or file over the natural nail. Tip number 9, use sanding-free base gel if you decide to either continuously use polish, or if you do opt in for a gel manicure. With Japanese gel products, not only do you minimally have to buff the nail when you do have to buff the nail, but they also offer the sanding-free base gel. And you can use 2 coats of it on your natural nail. Apply your just regular polish if you like after you wipe the tacky layer and just keep changing your color from there on without having to continuously remove a gel manicure, which can be very taxing to your nail. Or maybe you want a gel manicure for an event, right? Or you're going out of town and you want something to last a little bit longer. You don't want to be doing your nails on a trip. So again, sanding-free base gel is a great option. Tip number 10. This tip is the one that's going to give you the most consistent results, but because it's going to give you these consistent results, it's going to require that you be consistent. This tip is so easy, but so easy to also overlook, forget, ignore, or not be persistent and consistent with. And that is just simply using cuticle oil. So what does cuticle oil do for your natural nails? Why is it such a game changer in the natural nail goal scenario? Using cuticle oil every day, at least twice a day, is beneficial to your natural nails because it's again providing flexibility, providing moisture onto the nail. And that is so important because the more nourishment you provide to the nail, even though it's external, the more flex power you're going to give it. And all this flex power is just giving the nails the ability to flex, to bend versus breaking. Now, to further illustrate this point, right, just keep this in mind. Dry, brittle, hard nails will break. And you might be saying, wait, if my nails are hard, why would they break? Well, hard nails can break because they lack flexing power. They don't have that shock absorbency that cuticle oil or moisture put into the natural nail gives that natural nail. And to understand this further, I want to give you a visual. Think of your phone cases. When you buy a phone case, you often have two options. You can get an acrylic hard case, right? Or you can get a gummy, a rubbery case. More often than not, you're going to go for that rubbery case, not only because it feels better, but you know that if your phone falls with that rubbery case, it's more likely going to survive impact, right? It's not going to break or shatter as in the case of that acrylic hard case. Why? Because the rubber case has that shock absorbency and the acrylic case, the dry, hard acrylic case does not. So it's going to break and it's most likely going to also break your phone or dent at minimum. And that is the scenario that I wanted to consider to help you understand what cuticle oil does to nourishing your natural nail and prevent it from breaking, giving it that flexing power. Now check out Simply Nail Logical's video on how to grow your nails long fast, because in it she really nails down this topic of cuticle oil, and most importantly she shows you how to DIY a bunch of cuticle oil for you to have everywhere, because you want to have it everywhere. You want to have it on your desk, you want to have it by your bed, you want to have it in the kitchen, you want to have it in the restroom, you want to have it in the purse, you want to have it everywhere so that you can always remember to apply. So you need a lot. So she shows you this very economical way of how to make your own cuticle oil using jojoba seed oil and also vitamin E. So check her video out. I'll put the link in the description box below. These are my 10 tips and tricks to grow your nails long, have patience, and be consistent. In the description box below, I have a free video training, mini training for you to check out. And I also have a link to some of the products that I'm using in this video if you are interested in them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.